What did you think of Greg Monroe last night?
I thought that obviously played a little bit more in the first stint that I would have thought going into the game. I thought he did a pretty good job. You know, we tried to give him a crash course on what we're trying to do defensively with a couple of offensive actions to look for when he's in, and then just play to his strengths. And, you know, the one thing that beyond just his post-scoring and ability in that regard that we really want to take advantage of is his passing. And, you know, we played him at the elbows some. We tried to do some things out of the post with him, kind of facilitating from there, kind of like we try to do with Al. I thought he did a good job. I mean, I was thinking about it. It'd be hard just to show up. Your first meeting is right before the game, and hey, by the way, go play 20 minutes.
Yeah, as a coach, what are you kind of saying to him right now to help him navigate this? Just a quick turnaround and trying to adjust.
I didn't say a thing to him other than what we're trying to do tonight. You know, I think that he's a pro. He's been through this before. He's had a lot of coaches in his time in the league, and you know. But everything's an adjustment. Like sitting in our film session's different than every other one, right? It's just everybody has their own little tweaks and own little ways of saying and lingo that you got to get used to. And I don't know that there's any real way to rush that. You try to do what you can at a bare minimum, and then, you know, he's a good player. He'll impact the game just by being him.
Kind of keep it simple with him. Does he come to you in those situations, say, ask him questions?
Well, the first thing that I always do with any of our players when they join us is assign an assistant coach to them. That is their sounding board that they can do and go and ask every question to. They go through a defensive teaching tape, an offensive playbook. They do everything that, you know, everybody goes through usually in training camp, but you just get an expedited version of it mid-season.
Who's his assistant?
Jailer.
All the changes that you guys went through coming into the season, and then you had to change more things when Gordon got hurt. Did that make it kind of more of a relief for you when you guys weren't as active on Thursday as maybe some other teams were?
You know, I didn't even really think about it from the standpoint of having to change or tweak. I think that's just part of it in the NBA. But I think more so from the standpoint we have a good locker room. We have guys that pull for one another. It's when things haven't gone well, guys have rallied together. When things have gone well, we've just kind of moved on, and you know we need that. But I said yesterday we have to improve internally because you know I think that there's no question the level we're playing right now is fine, but it's not good enough to get to where we want to ultimately go.
Coach, what did it mean to put Monroe out there to start overtime? What did you see from him during the game?
Well, they had Gortat out there, and then and Morris, and so I thought with Al being able to match up with Morris, it was going to be pick a guy to play with him. We hadn't seen them play yet together, and I wanted to give him a couple of possessions. I know that sounds crazy, but you're a little bit in experimentation mode when you get a new player this late in the game. And we've got 3 games in 4 days. And so, you know, I think that the more that we can see and the more that we can learn, the better. You know, the one thing that I liked about yesterday was I feel like with Greg's passing and scoring, it may be able to take some load off of Al. You know, especially not having to come back with the second unit, those types of things.
So you saw good things with them together?
Well, it was exactly a minute. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Is there anybody you that looks at what Ty Lue's got to do out in Cleveland now, without getting into specific names, and says like, wow, that's a job to do in the last 30 games? I know when you guys traded for Isaiah, you had a somewhat similar thing.
I mean, we had 42 players our first 18 months or whatever it is, and again, the guys in this league really know how to play, and it's all about the spirit that teams play with and how quickly they can come together and how committed they are to one another and all those things. And, you know, I haven't really thought about it because I haven't really looked at, you know, their stuff yet. I'll look at that tonight after our game. But they're awfully talented, and that starts with the guy who's been there the whole time.
Brad Oladipo is their all-star. Do you look at his play in Indiana as being kind of an opportunity, or is there more to his game than you've seen in the last couple of years?
I've always loved Victor's love of the game. Like, it's been clear he was a player at Indiana when I was at Butler, and he had a great vibe about him. He had a great way about him. You could tell the game mattered to him. He competed every night. It didn't matter if they were playing against a low major Division I or they were playing against Purdue at home. You could see it every single night, and that hasn't changed. I just think that's his attitude, that's his mindset, and guys like that get better. It's a heck of a quality to have. You root for guys like that to have the kind of success they've had because it rewards guys that love the game.
Brett, have you spoken to Marcus at all? Is there any progress since you've been gone away from him?
Marcus Smart. Talked to him for a minute today. He's not going to. Doesn't sound like he's going to play in any of the next 3 games. But the impression I was given was that after the week off and the All-Star break, should be good to go. But he's going to get reevaluated tonight by our medical staff, our doctors, and so I'll probably know more later.